Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is the Commando Cast, a video cast about all things Star Wars Destiny. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando. Hello Star Wars Destiny folks, welcome back to Dice Commando and the Commando Cast. Thanks for joining me here on this Friday. So last weekend I was able to participate in the Galactic Open Tatooine. I was able to do Heat 1. I had to get up super early on Saturday morning to do it, but I was able to join in that heat. Unfortunately, that was the only one I was able to join, but I was able to keep tabs on the event all weekend through the various streams and just people on the Discord, and I had a really good time all weekend, even the ones I wasn't playing in. So today what I wanted to do was kind of run down my experience, the event itself, and then just kind of give some meta takeaways as well as some other thoughts and observations on the event and what we saw. Hey folks, so thanks for tuning in today. Yeah, talking the Tatooine Open, the Galactic Open Tatooine, whatever we want to call it. But yeah, last weekend's event I think was overall a success. So my heat was run by Lando Wonka from Echo Base, also moonlighting at ARH or the other way around, whatever it may be. But he always does a good job with his tournaments. I mean, no real surprise there. Lots of experience, and it went really well. But I think it's safe to say the whole weekend went well. I mean, I wasn't in the other events, the other heats like I mentioned, but I mean, I think overall you'd have to call the weekend pretty successful. I mean, I don't know what the internal ARH targets and hopes and wishes and dreams were, but just going through, we had 76 total entries. There was 27 in Heat 1, 28 in Heat 2, and then 21 in Heat 3. The Heat 3 one on Sunday afternoon, or at least for me, Sunday afternoon, was pretty late for most of our Europe guys. I think they would have been done like after midnight, right? So I think it makes sense why that one was a little lower. Plus, for in middle of Sunday, right, for family people, that's tough too, right? So I think there's no surprise there. But I think, obviously the setup that they have is really good because it offers times for everyone. Now, for me, I had to wake up. The Heat 1 was the only one I was able to do with my schedule. So I had to wake up at 3 a.m. my time to make sure that I had my head right by 4 a.m. game time. So it took me a bit to wake up. But in addition to, like I mentioned, the 76 total entry, what I think was probably the bigger takeaway is that of that, at least as per my counts, there were 42 unique players across the weekend, which I think is a pretty good number, right? I mean, it would have been pretty, to say 76 total entries divided by 3, we could have had just the same 25 people over and over and over again. And that's, to a certain extent, sure, we had a lot of people doing it over and over and over again, but 42 unique players, right? So that's a pretty good community. Now keep in mind that is global. So it's a little harder to know what that will translate to for some of the stuff that they're trying to do IRL, right? There's the one in Vegas. I think there's one up in Minnesota somewhere or something like that. Or it's just outside Chicago. It's the Adepticon. There we go. So we'll see what that translates to for IRL stuff. Obviously, you're not going to have, it's not global, but there's a lot of people who don't want to play online and want to play IRL. So it'll be very interesting to see how that translates and what that ends up with. So let's go ahead and we'll run down my event itself. So my first, before we go into kind of the larger results. So my first game was against Ki-Adi-Mundi and Anakin Transformations, which I'll admit, embarrassingly, wasn't really a pair that I had thought about. And as soon as I sat down, I was like, that's a good deck, right? And I'm kind of embarrassed I didn't think about it, and even more that I wasn't aware, because obviously like a lot of people showed up with it. But that's a me problem. This deck's really, really good. It has Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it more later, but basically it auto eliminates 2 of the meta decks out there. Well, kind of 2.5 of them, right? So, because Beacon Curses isn't super popular, but I just call it Beacon Curses, right? You know what I mean, right? The Curse Ewoks, whatever, and with that archetype, the curses paying Curse Burn, whatever. So it basically eliminates mill because of Ancient Lightsaber. It basically kills the ping decks because it generates shields, and it, even like its biggest threat, which I think is Alzamec, which right, because Alzamec removes cards from your discard pile or sets aside cards from your discard pile at 1 per turn, by the way, which is not a huge rate, but it can eliminate him pretty quick, and so. It's a really strong deck. So I was able to pull that one out. I was on DAC. I was on Rogue Squadron AR, so DAC and Wedge with Armored Reinforcement. We'll talk about that too. But that's what I was on. I made the game time call to run an easy deck because it was super early in the morning, and I was like, I'm just gonna roll guns and kind of resolve guns, and that's kind of gonna be my thing today. So I think that worked out well. Yoda Ahsoka was my round 2. This one I ended up taking the L on. This is another deck I was really impressed with. I wasn't sure when I sat down. Now it wasn't that when I sat down against this deck, it wasn't the same, or versus this deck, I wasn't the same as like the Key Annie when I was like, oh, this is really good. I was actually surprised I won the Key Addy Mundi deck, whatever. Key Annie Mundi. Oh, that's not bad. All right, so Yoda Ahsoka. When I sat down, I was like, I think I can get this one. But it ended up being pretty darn good, right? Because I went after Ahsoka first, which I think's the right play. I think, and ended up getting him down. But then Yoda could do pretty crazy things. We did have a mistake in that game where I didn't catch that he had Neiman and Jarkai out, which was actually a big deal because I was focused so much on removing the Neiman every turn to stop him. But anyway, my point here is that like I think Ahsoka is the right target. Which means that like when Ahsoka gets to like 8 or 10 damage, they can just basically start loading up Yoda, and hopefully you get a redeploy or 2 on Ahsoka, and then when you throw that Jarkai on Yoda, like I think Yoda's pretty damn good, right? And like a Mace Lightsaber or something in that deck too, targeted for Yoda, seems with the unblockable seems pretty good. So, and there's other options too, right? But although do keep in mind Maces is going to be rotating out here soon, but either way, third game I just got demolished, right? So this Gideon Bing deck it's very much a swing for the fence type deck, right? But because it plays all in and tactical mastery, right? So basically the whole concept is to get Gideon out, detect the 2. Maybe you play, maybe you don't. You probably don't most of the time, and that was so early on. Like he pulled one of my, I think it was round 1. He pulled my merchant, and I was like, oh, are you sure you don't want to play merchant? He ended up doing it. And then now in retrospect, I feel bad because I was trying to be nice. And then now in retrospect, I feel bad because that was probably bad advice. I figured that with the merchant, you'd want to play it, take the 1 indirect, and then get money because I figured that'd be worth it. But now that I understand how the deck works, that was probably bad advice. So, my sincere apology there. I was trying to be nice, but I understand. I understand now after you curb stomped me with that. But yeah, between all in and the tactical mastery and the 2 focus on Gideon and doing 3 detect, and obviously you try to play the detect cards to get it down, but sometimes you like with tactical mastery, so like sometimes you just can't do it, right? So I don't know. Ended up I know he didn't place with 4 wins, I don't believe. So probably it's probably about a 50% deck, right? But sometimes there's nothing you can do on it. So he played that well. That was a really cool deck. Jaro Kara. It's hard to say, actually. Jaro Kara. See? All right, whatever. You know what I mean, right? So I think this is like, that was like an Andrew deck, right? Like a perfect, like something I would love to play. There was some, confusion in the middle where I think he ended up not taking, or I think he Guardian to die and then didn't take the damage or something like that. So I think I was still in the driver's seat for that game, but I do think, it's unfortunate to have stuff like that happen, but it's a really good deck. Kara has not been performing. I've been playing a lot of Kara. You guys have seen it. She hasn't been performing to the level that I thought she was going to be with blue, at least. Right, because the dream there is like the no blanks Jarkai play, right? But she hasn't been performing well because most of the time blue ends up being the target, and then she's kind of just left. And anyway, round 5 was one of the very few blue villain decks that I saw across the day, and it was Inquisitorius. That was Second Sister. The inefficiency of Second Sister, we continue to see the inefficiency of Second Sister. Do keep in mind this was United, by the way, because with the way the points work, it's United with the team up and the decrease on Second Sister. He had enough to do United, and he wasn't doing the blank one, which I think probably would have helped him a little bit. Although I was re-rolling, and I rolled pretty well, but. Blue villain did not take the day. I think that's fair to say. And then last was Rainmaker. He's playing his creative Wookiees deck. A lot of health to chew through. A lot of tough decisions. I was eventually able to get it through. But man, Tarful. I like Tarful, and Tarful's pretty good. So I like it. So that was my event. Ended up going 4 on the day, and I did earn enough points to get my Ahsoka. Thankfully, especially when I in the last round, I was like, man, I need to. Well, after I lost my round 2 and round 3, I was like, I need to win out. I'm probably not getting Ahsoka. And then going into 6, and I saw Rainmaker, and I was like, oh, crap, I'm not going to win this. But I was able to eke it out. So got my Ahsoka. We'll see when the redemption stuff comes out, but very, very excited about that. So kind of takeaway for the weekend. Let me put this up for you real quick. So thanks to Sarah Evans, by the way, for she collected the 4 wins or better, the 4 points or better across the weekend. And she had posted them in the Discord. I combined them into one image here, which we're looking at. But you see a lot of the same names up at the top, which I don't think is a surprise. But kind of looking at the decks, Jin Han. It's interesting. I think Jin Han's one of the discussion points coming out of the weekend about how the deck continues to be really, really, really good. There's no real argument there. I mean, it took 2 of the top 3 slots. In the first wave, it was just 1. I mean, like I said, it didn't necessarily pop to the top on everything, but I think it's still one of those decks that I think the chatters around on maybe it's too good. I don't know. I mean, it's just that like Han's dice are really good. You guys know I like the veteran stormtroopers from back in the day, and Han has 2 of those dice, and I think they're really good with the 3 side. Jin is crazy good, and just the lockout. I mean, it is what it is. But overall, if we really look at the top, if we look at the 4 or betters, right, the 50. If we look at the greater than 50% decks. Most of I think it's pretty safe to say, from winning the day, right, doesn't necessarily mean winning the tournament, right? I think it's pretty safe to say the Blue Hero kind of won last weekend, right? Like, they had a really huge showing. The decks did really, really well. It would be interesting. I could probably, actually, our Echo Base guys or Stats guys, they can probably do that for us, but it would be interesting to know what the, kind of the field percentage of Blue Hero versus the 4 or better, like what would be the top cut or whatever we want to call it. That would be kind of interesting to look as like, was it 50% of the field? Because if you look here, right, we've got 1, 2, Elucitine's not technically Blue Hero, but I would classify it Blue Hero. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so just less than 50%. But so yeah, I mean, you've got roughly 40 to 50% on the weekend of Blue Hero in the 4 or better. And I think it makes sense, right? Because, let's talk Ki-Adi-Mundi. Let's talk Ki-Adi-Mundi, right? He does basically everything you want him to do in like a Swiss type event, right? Because he can recycle stuff. He can make shields. The Anakin call is fantastic with him because you can just take the ping on the shield and you're still dealing 2 damage. And he's really set up well against ping decks. He's set up well against Mill's kind of an auto loss with him, right? And let's go ahead and talk about Ancient Lightsaber for a sec, right? I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, Ancient Lightsaber came off the reprint list, so it's pretty to say that Ki and Ancient Lightsaber are a problem, whatever, bad interaction, whatever you want to call it. I'm not saying it's a problem. I mean, it kind of feels like a problem because it kind of eliminates Mill. I know a lot of people don't really have a problem with that, but it's kind of unfortunate that there's like an auto loss matchup on that, right? But again, remember, Ki Adi was tested independently of the reprint list, so I'm pretty sure that come the set, I'm pretty sure that comes ARH4 release, what is it again, Unlikely Heroes, something like that. I'm pretty sure that come that mid-November, that Ancient will probably be gone, because you can't just have it eliminate one entire archetype on its own. But yeah, so Ki's in a really strong spot. I think that deck probably won the day. I'd be surprised if we didn't see that deck pick up popularity in Steam, because not only is it good, but it's pretty fun to play, right? And it's also Blue Hero, which is pretty popular. So I think that deck's really going to pick up steam and have people refine it. And someone will try and figure out how to beat it too, but it doesn't really have a ton of weaknesses, right? So, I think that's I don't think it has a ton of weaknesses. Like, I think that deck kind of won the weekend. But again, you're seeing a lot of Blue Hero, and I think primarily the reason you're seeing Blue Hero over now, it's Ancient and Shoto. Let's be honest, right? It's Ancient and Shoto is the reason we're seeing so much blue, and then quite frankly, the reason it's Blue Hero over Blue Villain, I think, is just because I think right now Blue Hero just kind of does it better overall, right? So it's like, I was looking at running maybe Maul Savage going into the weekend, and I defaulted to just going guns, like I said, because I wanted it to be easy. But like, aside from playing the events and stuff, and then you expose yourself to mill, and I really think that Blue Hero just right now kind of does it better. And everybody wants to play the good guys anyway, right? Maybe not everybody, but anyway. So that's it. Now I did not run up against a Jin Han over the weekend, probably because I got into the losers bracket early. That deck's really good. I'm not taking anything away from that deck. So I know I'm giving a lot of Blue Hero love right here, but that's just because I'm really impressed with what those decks can do. Like I said, they don't really seem to have a huge weakness, other than maybe the fact that, they can't play cards when they run up against Jin Han, which seems reasonable. But, if you do get stuff in your discard, you can play stuff from your discard too. So, it's good. Jin Han, I think Jin Han probably does well in that matchup. But again, if they're throwing indirect and you're generating shields on your Shotos and stuff, healing on your Ancients, it seems really, really, really good. So anyway, those are kind of my, random meta thoughts. If you're playing a ping deck of any sorts, minus maybe like Relentless Advance, right? That one I like because you can still deal a huge packet of damage at the end. So that one I like. But, if you're trying to do like an Afra ping deck, I had an episode not too far ago called, Afra's back, baby. And she is, but she's not back over decks that are generating multiple shields every turn. It kind of eliminates those. So, I think that's why you're going to see a lot of Ki Annie probably. But I think you're just going to see a lot of Ki is just the fact that he can't be milled, the fact that he provides a lot of protection against ping decks, and is still pretty balanced against some other stuff. So anyway, I think enough on that. I think, kind of the thesis statement there has been reinforced. So kind of wanted to talk about the event itself. Like I said, I think it was really well run. I don't know what their internal goals were in terms of people. But having 42 unique players, I think that's good, right? I think that's really good. In terms of some, improvement type stuff, as it's Thursday when I'm shooting this, as of yet, we haven't had the points and stuff sent out or anything for redemption yet, which isn't the end of the world, but it's been a week, so I think if they could improve that process somehow, but I think eventually they'll get it. We had some turnover and stuff, so there's people kind of basically doing it for the first time, so aren't necessarily getting learnings from the first Geo. But I think once they get a system in place, things will be better. And then maybe by the time this video comes out, they're out. And again, it's like I said, it's not a major deal. People don't mind waiting. But you do run into the issue that things on the internet are expected to, in the internet age, and especially things run online, are expected a relatively quick turnaround. So you want to make sure you're not de-incentivizing people by having it, take too long. But The question is, what is too long? I don't know. But I have had some people contact me and ask, like, hey, have you seen in redemption stuff yet? I've asked some other people. So, the questions are being asked. But, again, it's a learning experience, and I have no question about it. They're going to get it down. One thing about so I had asked the question. So because they have a unique spot gloss given as entry to each different wave, I was unfortunately only able to do wave 1, which is grief, and I really wanted the Kara one. So I asked the question of, could I swap my entry promo? And I was told that it wasn't possible, which I thought was odd because, I don't think they're pre-printing these spot glosses. Like, I don't think like they have a stack of 50 of them and then are sending them out. I think they're, based on how long it took to get the spot glosses last time, which again is fine. I think they're, looking at it and then putting in their orders. So I didn't really understand why it's not possible to do that. Now, I think it's more of a policy type thing, which makes sense, right? They're trying to encourage people to do all 3 events due to exclusivity. I'm not entirely sure that's the right angle, though, right? Because the people who want all of the spot glosses, are going to play in all events to try and get them all, right? Try and get that flashing to stop there, sorry. So the people who want all the spot glosses are going to play in all 3 events to try and get them all. People who want specific spot glosses, just based on the way the points are work, you're really only going to be, most people are going to earn 1 to 2 spot glosses over the weekend. So what I'm wondering is if with their entry, if they shouldn't just give people enough points with entry to get a spot gloss just out of the gate, and then let them redeem based on prizes. I think that would work. It wouldn't make people feel. Let's say it this way, right? Again, I understand that the incentive is to try to get people to do them all to collect all the spot glosses. But I'm wondering if it doesn't also serve as a de-incentivization of, I can only do one, and the one I can do is not the spot gloss I want, and I'm going to end up with this other spot gloss that I don't really care about. I'm wondering if it's not a de-incentivization to participate. If you're a family person, or you're just busy, or things don't time out and you can't do all 3 events, then are you de-incentivized to play in the events that you can play in because you can't get the ones you want, right? So hopefully that's just kind of my line of thought. And again, this is, sure, I'm biased here because I want the Kara one. I want Ahsoka and Kara, right? But so, like I said, I'm obviously biased here, so that's certainly clouding my argument. But I am thinking, again, the expectation that everyone's going to do all 3 events, I think is, right, because this isn't like you're going to a convention, right? The expectation that everyone's going to do all 3 events, I think, is too much. So like I said, I think that in some cases it could serve as a de-incentivization of, I was going to, because, $15 I think is completely reasonable for what they're charging, right? Especially with shipping costs and stuff. Like, I think it's completely reasonable I think $15 is completely reasonable. Want to be very clear about that. But it is $15, right? So if somebody thinks mentally that their $15 is going to go to something they don't want, they might not do it, right? So that was just kind of my line of thought. Again, I understand the angle on it. I was just kind of curious, and unless, like I said, unless the stuff's pre-printed, I don't really understand why people couldn't swap what they want, other than just like a collectability policy thing. But then again, I don't think people are like putting these up on eBay either, right? I mean, maybe, but I don't think that's the case. So, best case scenario, you find somebody who wants to trade with you. But anyway, so that was just kind of a random thought I had on the weekend. But I want to be very clear, none of that, that's not negative feedback. It's just kind of a thought I had taken away of I wonder if, I wonder if it's actually the intent. I believe the intent of the policy is actually to encourage entry, but I wonder if for those who are, not all in, I wonder if it actually decreases the motivation to participate. Because think about it, if you could sign up and know that you could automatically, you sign up and you pay your $15, you can automatically get the spot gloss that you want. I think that would go a long way to bringing in a lot of casual players, or more casual players, who would, just want to come in and oh man, I saw the spot gloss, I really want the Kara spot gloss. For $15 I can sign up, doesn't matter how many games I win, I can get Kara. Versus having to try and time it. Again, many people just can't play at a certain time. It's 2 a.m. They've got to be at their friend's house. They've got kids who need naps, whatever it may be, right? So anyway, just like I said, just some random thoughts. I want to thank the ARH guys. I think the event went really, really well. I hope you guys are happy with it in terms of numbers and all that. I think the numbers exceeded what I thought. Hopefully they exceeded what you thought. But either way, like I said, the event I played in was really, really well done. No reason to think that the other ones weren't. I heard they got more wheels in some of the later events, and everybody loves the wheels. So anyway, that's it. Let me know, for those of you who played over the weekend, let me know. Did you guys have fun? I assume everybody did. There was a ton of discussion on our Discords. People like Wookie Smell, he wasn't able to participate because he was out fixing some nuclear reactors. But he was still tracking everything on Discord and updating us, and super exciting. So just stuff like that. People are very into it, even the people who can't play. So I think the event is a success. Looking forward to the next one, hoping I can play in more. But we'll see. So again, thanks everyone thanks to ARH guys for putting it together. Thanks to everyone who I played against. I had a great time, who I hung out with on the weekend. And thank you guys for tuning in, and go Commando.